Tonight, Israel's Prime Minister says there will be no ceasefire.
This is a time for war.
A brutal assault on Gaza. And Israel says its forces rescued a hostage, but hundreds more still held captive. The pleas for help on Parliament Hill.
I think that Canada hasn't done enough yet. I think the world hasn't done enough yet.
And how the war is dividing Canadian campuses. Plus, more Canadians demand a carbon tax break.
They don't want us to be burning carbon, but there's no alternative.
And why one province is lowering the age for breast cancer screening.
I think it's a huge step in the right direction.
This is The National with Chief Correspondent Adrian Arsenault.
Thanks for joining us. Israeli troops are now pushing deeper into Gaza, advancing on its biggest city from two sides. And tonight, they're claiming an individual victory, the rescue of an Israeli soldier authorities say was taken hostage by Hamas. But Israel says more than 200 other hostages remain in Gaza, where conditions continue to deteriorate. The calls for a ceasefire are loud, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's response is blunt, saying that will not happen. He's making the argument that going into Gaza is how they can get hostages out. As Susan Ormiston shows us, a newly released hostage video is keeping their plight front and center.
The Israeli women in a video released by Hamas plead for their release, blaming Israel's prime minister for not protecting them and yelling, "Free us now." A relief of sorts for those praying for their safety.
We're all happy to see them alive and looking good, not wounded.
It's unclear when the video was taken or under what circumstances.
I guess it's quite obvious that they've been told what to say. That's what it looks like.
The Prime Minister, on a goodwill visit with police, called it cruel, psychological propaganda and announced that another hostage, a soldier, was now free. Rescued overnight in Gaza, says the IDF. Reunited with her grandmother in a video released by Israel's foreign ministry. It all bolsters the government's strategy to push into Gaza to corner Hamas.
The ground action actually creates the possibility, not the certainty, but the possibility of getting our hostages out, because Hamas will not do it unless they're under pressure. They simply will not do it.
But many friends and families worry more fighting will imperil those still captive.
Time is running out, but it's not too late to save life.
The IDF is expanding its attack, deploying more troops and tanks moving towards Gaza City on two sides. Airstrikes, flattening buildings, burying people every day with little hope of rescue. The war keeps breaking hearts and hardening them. They killed us, cries this man. Humanitarian aid is trickling in, but a fraction of what's needed after 3 weeks of a siege. 600 airstrikes, the highest daily count, says the IDF. One bombardment striking dangerously close to a major hospital, a refuge for people sheltering there. On a main road heading south from Gaza City, a video shows a car trying to turn around moments before it blows up. A journalist at the scene reported a tank was alongside the road. The war on the ground has just started, and Netanyahu is rejecting any talk of a pause.
Calls for a ceasefire are calls for Israel to surrender to Hamas, to surrender to terrorism, to surrender to barbarism. That will not happen.
As the IDF penetrates deeper into Gaza, the Prime Minister says this is the time for war.
So, Susan, that's Benjamin Netanyahu's second national address in just a few days. What's behind this?
Well, he spoke in English on live TV, so as much to the world as to his country. He's trying to shore up his allies, fend off criticism of his leadership, and keep the focus on trying to eliminate Hamas rather than the failure to bring home those hostages or the devastating conditions inside Gaza, Adrian.
All right, Susan Ormiston in Jerusalem. Among the more than 2 million people trapped in Gaza right now are many foreign nationals who today the U.S. State Department said are being forced by Hamas to remain there.
Hamas is making a number of demands before they'll allow people to leave Gaza. I'm not going to speak to those demands, but it's something we're continuing to try to work through.
Global Affairs Canada says it's in contact with 460 Canadians, permanent residents and family members in Gaza right now, and it's working to secure a window for them to leave. In Ottawa, Justin Trudeau met with loved ones of some of those believed to have been killed or taken hostage by Hamas. As Catherine Cullen shows us, that meeting comes as pressure also grows on the government to embrace calls for a ceasefire.
They're hidden somewhere.
They came to Ottawa to ask for help.
All of the family, absolutely all of them, got kidnapped or murdered. So they don't have anyone else to speak up for them.
And so they told MPs and the Prime Minister about family members with ties to Canada killed, missing, or held hostage by Hamas.
People we talked to, they did not see this as a political message. They had tears in their eyes when they talked to us.
They say governments must do more to ensure Hamas's hostages are released.
I think that Canada hasn't done enough yet. I think the world hasn't done enough yet. And this should be a top priority.
This has to happen right now.
All hostages must be released. And it is important to allow food, fuel, and water in Gaza.
The Foreign Affairs Minister says 2 Canadians are missing and may be hostages, while some 400 Canadians are trapped in Gaza.
And as a government, we have a duty to bring them to safety. And that is why we need humanitarian pauses, a humanitarian truce in Gaza.
But there has been no humanitarian pause. Still, some push for even more. Several MPs' offices were occupied by sit-ins demanding Canada call for a ceasefire. Ceasefire right now! It's a push that has also come from some humanitarian groups and about 36 MPs, including some Liberals.
It's important that Canada be a strong voice to call for a ceasefire and stop the killing of the innocent civilians.
Israel's ambassador says no.
Israel will not cease fire because we have a murderer shooting at us, continuing to shoot at us, and there is no reason why we should stop. He will just continue to do more.
To make their case, Israeli officials in Ottawa have shared video of Hamas's October 7th attack with journalists and politicians. Officials say that there are similar efforts underway around the world to ensure, they say, that Israel's perspective is understood. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
And Israel is urging Russia to protect Israelis and Jews under its jurisdiction after hundreds of people stormed the tarmac at an airport searching for passengers arriving from Tel Aviv. Briar Stewart shows us what happened.
As hundreds stormed the Makhachkala airport in the Russian region of Dagestan, they shouted Allahu Akbar, God is greatest. Some waved Palestinian flags while yelling anti-Semitic statements. Where are they? They demanded of the airport staff. The mob violently burst onto the tarmac after a flight arrived from Tel Aviv, prompting airline staff to order those passengers disembarking from another plane back on board. It took hours for police to regain control. Local officials said 20 were injured in the clashes, and the Kremlin blames those outside of Russia for creating the chaos. The events in Makhachkala last night were instigated, among other things, through social networks, not least from Ukraine, by the hands of agents of Western Special Services. What happened at the airport was the latest anti-Israeli incident to take place in the predominantly Muslim regions of Russia's northern Caucasus. Over the weekend, a crowd gathered at a hotel because they thought Israeli refugees were inside. In another region, a fire broke out at a Jewish cultural center that was under construction.
The authorities have been caught pretty unprepared.
This Russia expert says it's extraordinary that the authorities weren't able to crack down on the crowd earlier, which is why she believes the Kremlin will try to compensate now.
Prosecutions, trials, jail sentences are to be expected. So they want to show that they are really quite serious about punishing.
She believes the rising tension in the North Caucasus isn't representative of the rest of the country. But in Moscow, the Jewish community is deeply concerned. That's scary. I have no idea what I should do, says this teacher. It's very embarrassing and painful, says another. The U.S. has condemned the anti-Semitic events in Dagestan, and Israel has issued its highest threat travel warning to the area. It's also called on Russia to protect its citizens and all Jews. Security has been stepped up at the Makhachkala airport. It has reopened, but for now, flights from Israel are being diverted to other Russian cities. Briar Stewart, CBC News, London.
Back here in Canada, there is new pushback after the federal government announced home heating oil would be exempt from the carbon tax. Saskatchewan's premier says that's not enough. And as Kate McKenna tells us, he has an ultimatum for Ottawa.
Natural gas powers the prairies, and Saskatchewan's premier has issued an ultimatum: exempt all heating fuels from the carbon tax, or his province won't collect it.
The federal government may say that's illegal, and that you simply cannot choose to collect and pay your taxes. In most cases, I would agree with that. But it's the federal government that has created two classes of taxpayer by providing an exemption for heating oil.
He's one of several premiers unhappy with the suspension of tax only on heating oil, predominantly used in Atlantic Canada.
This is not the way to create unity. This is not the way to get people on board with the overall agenda of reducing emissions.
Justin Trudeau made the announcement last week, flanked by his Atlantic Canadian caucus. Fast forward to now in the House of Commons, every question from the Conservative leader hammered the Liberals on the price of carbon.
The Prime Minister claims that he only backed down on the carbon tax for some Canadians because of the advocacy of terrified Liberal members. So is he really saying that Liberal MPs in the areas where this pause does not apply are totally useless and will never be able to defend Canadians heating their homes?
And it's not just politicians. This farmer says carbon pricing is costing him hundreds of thousands of dollars per year.
They don't want us to be burning carbon, but there's no alternative. It's not like you can plug in a battery and say, you know, oh, well, let's dry a whole bunch of corn using a battery or something. Like, that's not an option here.
Dwight Foster lives in Poilievre's Ontario riding. He says the changes to the carbon tax are about getting votes in Atlantic Canada.
These people are prudent on trying to get reelected. That's their sole mandate. I'm convinced of that. And we are kind of between the rock and a hard place right here.
So, Kate, what's the Trudeau government saying about Scott Moe's ultimatum?
Well, so far they're not saying very much. Cabinet is expected to meet tomorrow, and we might hear more then. We do know that Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault said last week that as long as he's in that portfolio, he won't make any additional concessions to the carbon pricing plan. But one thing is for sure, the Liberals will be under incredible pressure on this subject in the weeks and months ahead.
All right, Kate McKenna in Ottawa, thank you. There's some promising news on several labor fronts tonight. Let's start with Stellantis. Auto workers back on the job in Windsor, Ontario, after a brief strike that lasted just hours.
Unifor has reached now a tentative agreement with Stellantis. The deal came about around 7 a.m. this morning after bargaining throughout the night.
This deal includes pay increases and pension improvements for 8,200 Canadian employees. Union members are expected to vote on it this weekend. And in the U.S., GM auto workers are also returning to work after weeks on strike.
They have reached a historic agreement.
President Biden praising a tentative deal which ends 6 weeks of labor disruption in the U.S. auto sector. It includes significant pay and retirement improvements. GM was the last of the big three automakers to settle with the United Auto Workers. And those are ships moving again on the St. Lawrence Seaway after a tentative agreement was reached Sunday. 360 workers had been on strike for more than a week over wages and working conditions. Details of the deal won't be made public until it's ratified. There's some backlash on the streets of Montreal over Quebec's plan to effectively double tuition fees for out-of-province students. Hundreds protested that decision today. And as Alison Northcott tells us, one university says its survival is at stake.
Tuition hikes have got to go.
Anger at the Quebec government on the streets of Montreal over a plan to double tuition fees for students from outside the province.
I do not believe that education should be unaffordable just by the basis of not being from here.
Quebec says it will stop subsidizing students from other provinces, most of whom attend English universities, in order to boost funding to its French institutions and protect the French language.
It's more than $110 million a year that taxpayers pay for students that do not stay here in Quebec, that do not work here either in French, and that do not stay.
The change will increase tuition fees from around $8,000 a year to $17,000. Compare that to out-of-province fees at Toronto Metropolitan University, which are between $8,000 and $12,500 a year. The move has prompted criticism from Quebec's 3 English-language universities and out-of-province students hoping to attend them.
Quebec, you're losing a possible high school math teacher over here.
Ireland Basendowski was accepted to Bishop's University in Quebec's eastern townships earlier this month. Now she's looking for a plan B because the cost is out of reach.
It was really a shock and it was really surprising. And then once it really sunk in, it was really devastating.
A bit under 30% of our students are Canadian out-of-province students.
The principal of Bishop's worries about losing a huge portion of those and wants an exemption.
That's really an existential crisis for us. It's not clear how a university can absorb such a transformation.
But the heads of some francophone institutions say the change will level the playing field. In an open letter in the Journal de Montréal, they wrote, "It is imperative to refocus the discussion on the real issue, the chronic underfunding of our French-speaking universities." The government says it's looking for a solution for Bishops as discussions with other schools continue. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
The cast of Friends are breaking their silence tonight after the sudden death of Matthew Perry over the weekend. In a joint statement to People magazine, they wrote, "We're also utterly devastated by the loss of Matthew. We were more than just castmates, we are a family." It was signed by all 5 co-stars. Matthew Perry was best known for playing Chandler Bing for 10 seasons on the hit show. The 54-year-old, who was raised in Ottawa, was found dead Saturday at his home in Los Angeles. It's not clear how he died, but police say no foul play is suspected. The war between Israel and Hamas is reverberating on Canadian university campuses.
And people walked by and just started calling us terrorists.
We have the right to exist. We have the right to live.
How schools are struggling to deal with rising tensions between students, coming up. Plus, why some seniors are still so vulnerable to COVID.
Future first infections in that group can still contribute substantial disease burden.
New research and what older adults can do to protect themselves. And a little later, a larger-than-life merchandise display just in time for Halloween.
It takes like 2 or 3 weeks to build one of these things.
A grocery store manager's towering work of art goes viral. We're back in 2. Ottawa is banning the Chinese social media app WeChat from government-issued phones, citing security concerns. The ban also applies to the Russian antivirus program Kaspersky. The government says it has no evidence that any information has been compromised so far. New numbers suggest many elderly Canadians have still been able to avoid COVID, but they're still at a high risk if they do catch the virus. Lauren Pelly now with how seniors can stay protected.
Most people in Jack Miller's family have had COVID by now, but at 74 years old, he's still trying to avoid it.
I've been very conservatively cautious and aggressive in making sure that I had all my vaccinations. I've had 8 shots so far.
And he's not alone. A study published Monday in the Canadian Medical Association Journal suggests infection rates remain lower for many seniors. Roughly 4 in 10 people aged 80 and up still haven't had it, compared to just 2 in 10 kids and younger adults under the age of 50.
And compare it in those 80 years of age and older.
The findings are from a research team in British Columbia, based on blood samples taken throughout the pandemic. The lead researcher told us the risk of severe disease or death from COVID has dropped across the board, but their data suggests seniors have a higher chance of hospitalization when they catch COVID for the first time.
Future first infections in that group can still contribute substantial disease burden.
Medical experts say the key takeaway is for seniors to stay up to date on their COVID shots, since getting vaccinated can further reduce someone's risk of serious illness.
Age should be the primary risk factor targeted.
This geriatrician is advising his patients to get an updated COVID shot, but he also tells them not to panic.
And we know that the risks and the accumulating risks of social isolation and loneliness are also harmful, also carry risks of death.
That's the approach Miller is taking as well.
I've decided you got to live with it, but you can't throw caution to the wind and just ignore it.
So he's living his life with a few extra precautions. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Ontario is lowering the age for regular breast cancer screening.
We have been seeing a lot more breast cancer diagnoses in women under the age of 50.
What's behind the change? Will other provinces do the same? Plus, the war between Hamas and Israel is sparking tensions on university campuses. Why both sides say they feel unsafe. And an ambitious plan to tackle homelessness.
For the young person that last night was sleeping in a tent, tonight they're going to have a private room to sleep in.
Nick Purdon takes us inside one city's high-stakes fight. The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next. Haley Wickenheiser is joining growing calls for mandatory neck guards for all hockey players after a former NHLer died of a severe cut over the weekend. The four-time Olympic champion posted such a terrible loss of a young life. It's time for mandatory neck protection at every level in hockey. The risk is far too great not to. 29-year-old Adam Johnson's neck was cut by a skate Saturday during a game in England. Medical personnel helped him off the ice, but could not save his life. And FIFA has banned the former head of Spain's soccer federation for misconduct. Luis Rubiales planted a forcible kiss on star player Jenny Hermoso after Spain won the Women's World Cup in August. Rubiales lost his job over the incident, and now he's out of the sport entirely for 3 years. He is also facing a criminal investigation. Ontario is lowering the age for routine mammograms from 50 to 40 starting next year. It says the aim is to catch more cancers early. Tashana Reid has more on the change and what other provinces are doing.
More mammograms will be performed each and every year.
Ontario's goal:
Don't breathe.
Earlier detection and earlier treatment. As of next year, people in the province can self-refer for a mammogram at age 40 instead of 50. This surgical oncologist says the move will save lives.
We have been seeing a lot more breast cancer diagnoses in women under the age of 50, and because they don't fall under the umbrella of breast cancer screening, they often aren't detected until they're more advanced.
The province projects an additional 130,000 mammograms per year, and that can mean less invasive treatment.
They might not need chemotherapy. They are more likely to be eligible to have just a lumpectomy and breast conservation rather than a mastectomy.
This also can benefit Black, Hispanic, and Asian people who are more likely to develop breast cancer at a younger age.
And so we know that if this population can actually self-refer, we're getting people before it becomes a lump.
But across Canada, screening recommendations vary. In 4 other provinces, the recommendation is still 50. Alberta lowered their screening to 45 last year. And in other parts of Canada, people as young as 40 can access mammograms. Earlier screening can lead to false positives, but
once they know what the risks and the benefits of less chemotherapy, less extensive long-term effects of treatment are, most women choose to be screened, but they have to make that decision themselves.
Natalie Quadrins wishes she could have had that chance. She discovered a lump at the age of 46. It was stage 4 cancer.
My cancer, had it been caught earlier and had I been able to have a mammogram earlier, would probably have saved my life. Yet I was not allowed to have one because I was too young.
The Canadian Task Force on Preventative Health says it is undergoing a review process based on all available evidence to update its breast cancer screening guidelines. Tashana Reid, CBC News, Toronto.
Now for a deeper look at the story shaping our world. An Ontario city gets major pushback for what it sees as bold and needed steps to tackle youth homelessness. But first, the challenge for universities. Reactions to war in the Middle East are making students angry and afraid. This is the breakdown. The White House vows to track and target anti-Semitism on campus.
We have seen an alarming rise in reported anti-Semitic incidents at schools and on college campuses.
Animosity is escalating over the Israel-Hamas war.
To the students at Cornell, we're tracking these threats closely.
Homeland Security in the U.S. is putting dozens of experts in direct touch with campus security.
We must also, without equivocation, denounce Islamophobia.
And Canadian schools are also feeling that friction.
Absolutely. I think people are taking it out on whoever's in front of them.
Deanna Sumanak-Johnson breaks down the statements and actions striking fear in some students and how universities are scrambling to get this right.
Sanad Al-Ajrami is a Palestinian-Canadian university student, and for him, the war in Gaza feels personal.
On my mom and dad's side of the family, we've had deaths on both sides.
He's here for a pro-Palestinian rally organized by the York University student unions. He says he was pushed and physically hurt at another campus rally and that university did little to protect him. York Student Union released a pro-Palestinian statement last week. He says it made him feel better.
When I saw that statement as a Palestinian student, that was honestly, it felt like the first time I had really seen somebody actually say, we have the right to exist, we have the right to live.
But that statement has angered many. It called the Hamas attack on Israeli civilians resistance efforts that are a direct response to the ongoing and violent occupation of Palestine. This student believes it's York University that has shown a lack of empathy for Palestinians caught in the war.
Right away, York denounced the killing of Israeli civilians, but until now, they haven't done so for Palestinian civilians. It makes me feel, as a Palestinian, one, dehumanized, and that they don't value Palestinian lives the same way that they do Israeli lives.
York University gave the three major student unions a deadline to retract the statement or face possible removal of official union status. The unions did not budge.
It's been tough, very frustrating and concerning at the same time.
Not 50 meters away from the protests, Jacob Berman, a Jewish student at York, says the university has done what it can to make him feel safe, but that he and other Jewish students feel alarmed by the stance of the student unions.
We kind of keep our heads on a swivel. There's often times where students will just come up to us because of it and call us out for it. A few days ago, people were holding an Israeli flag and people walked by and just started calling us terrorists for it.
York is not the only institution going through upheaval. From McGill to Concordia to Toronto Metropolitan University, there were protests too. At TMU, a letter signed by about 70 law students prompted some calls for their expulsion. The letter, which has since been removed from the internet, said, "We assert that Hamas's attack was a direct result of Israel's 75-year-old systemic campaign to eradicate Palestinians." Words that caused pain to Malka Daniels, a Jewish student at TMU.
So their letter was not only filled with misinformation, but just really harmful rhetoric and was created in very poor taste, unfortunately.
Adam Muller is an expert in peace and conflict studies.
What we're seeing, I think, is administrators struggling to find the right kind of balance that on the one hand does justice to the suffering of the individuals that we see daily on television and at the same time restrains us enough so that when we express our positions on that suffering, on the conflict, we do so in ways that don't harm other people.
It's a balance nobody really knows how to strike at this point. Professor Shannon Day investigates how universities manage academic freedom and free expression. She says universities should tread carefully before imposing harsh punishments on students or organizations.
I think that every time there's a rupture in a relationship like this where the university needs to strongly intervene or feels that it needs to strongly intervene, it makes it all the more difficult to have the good, careful, trusting conversations in the future. We are going to continue to see these kinds of conflicts on an ongoing basis.
York University is moving ahead with a formal process to determine if 3 student unions breached inclusion rules in their statement.
It's something that doesn't sit well with Palestinian students and their allies.
I don't feel comfortable properly expressing my solidarity with my people, my grief with the massacre that's happening against my people, when they're constantly trying to suppress those voices.
As the war thousands of kilometers away make Canadian campuses a land divided.
So, Deanna, when we talk about university responses, many Jewish students are really unhappy with how their institutions are handling these incidents. Let's talk about that a bit.
Absolutely, Adrian. So take Western University, for example. Jewish students put up posters of Israeli hostages held by Hamas. 2 young men, presumably students, were seen taking them down, and that video was posted on social media, but nothing really happened as a result. And we've seen similar examples off campus of people taking down similar posters. So this kind of stuff is happening.
And lots of people saying they're feeling unsafe.
Yeah, that the university is not doing enough.
So also, interestingly, looking at the United States, to hear the White House say that they're going to tackle anti-Semitism and Islamophobia on campuses, what's the plan?
So the majority of the plan was targeting anti-Semitism specifically. One of the measures they'll do is they're promising a partnership between federal law enforcement and campus law enforcement to track hate speech, for example. One thing that they're going to do for Islamophobia and anti-Semitism is that they will expedite complaints by students using the help of a federal agency. So those are some of the promises. Just today, Cornell University, of course, a major Ivy League school, started an investigation because there was an online threat of violence against Jewish students posted in an online forum.
All right, Deanna, thank you.
Thanks.
Our investigative unit has been getting some hard facts about a growing online threat. The people behind it are willing to ruin your life. Take a look.
Cyber tip analysts are seeing a stark increase in sextortion tips from the public. And experts say social media apps could be doing more.
Right now, we're averaging about anywhere between 8 and 10 sextortion incidents per day.
Sextortion is the act of threatening to share someone's nude or explicit photos or videos publicly, in most cases for money.
Hey, I have your nudes and everything enough to destroy you. If you block, I'll have no other choice than to send, as I have a screenshot of all your followers.
As you can see here, they're actually counting down saying, I didn't care about your life and career bro. 19, 18, 17, 16, all in separate messages, and then escalating the threats. As you can see, the victim is really begging with them, like, please stop.
The creeping menace of sextortion tomorrow on The Breakdown. Coming up, as one city looks for solutions to a homelessness crisis, not everyone is on board with the plan.
So you think the homeless should be helped?
Yes.
But just not in your neighborhood?
No, not in my neighborhood.
The real challenges and real divisions in the search for a solution. That's next. An Ontario city divided over a novel plan to quell a homelessness crisis.
This will be a private room.
Wasteful money coming your way.
Critics say these hubs will spread social problems throughout the city.
My kids, they might physically get attacked, I don't know.
I've also experienced homelessness as a child. You probably would have been afraid of me back in the day.
Nick Purdon traveled to London, Ontario, just as City Council was deciding whether to proceed with the first phase of housing vulnerable young people. He breaks down the divide.
You got hungry people. You got people on drugs. You have people on your streets. And you're going to stretch the issue all around London.
Homelessness is the top priority in our city. This mental health, addictions, and homelessness crisis that we see hold back much of the potential we have.
We don't choose homelessness. Homelessness comes. You never think it's gonna happen to you until you get so mentally ill that you can't take care of yourself anymore.
There are as many as 35,000 Canadians living on the street every single day. Homeless encampments are now common all across the country. Here in London, Ontario, the situation got so bad that the city's trying something that's never been done before. Could the City of London, Ontario have found a solution to the homelessness crisis?
Attention everyone, call to order, all rise.
It's decision day. After a year of planning, City Council is set to vote on a multi-million-dollar plan to address London's homelessness crisis. Mayor Josh Morgan pushes hard for it to pass.
Yes, this crisis is experienced by literally every community, big and small, across North America. And in the coming months or years, other communities may very well say, let's do what London did. I'm mayor of a city where since 2000, 200 people have died on our streets, homeless. I think we're at a unique and unprecedented moment in our city's history. We have the opportunity to save lives and change lives.
But it's not a slam dunk that London's plan will be approved. Not everyone likes it. In the gallery, there are two camps, the people against it, but people in favor too. Steve Cordes has a lot riding on today. He's one of 200 experts in London who developed the plan. Steve's expertise is in youth homelessness, and he shows me the facility, or hub as they call it, for getting young people off the street.
So we actually just entered into the room that a young person will be entering into the hub. And keep in mind, they'll be coming straight from homelessness. They'll have been staying in encampments. It'll be a while since they've looked at anything like an indoor sleeping area.
In the hub's model, a person experiencing homelessness wouldn't just get a bed, but any of the health services they might need.
All along this wall and along a further wall on that way, on the perimeter of the building, wherever there's windows, these are transitional housing rooms. For the young person that last night was sleeping in a tent, tonight they're gonna have a private room to sleep in. So right now it's a current office, but this will be renovated under the hub model. This will be a private room.
And how many youth will be able to stay here?
Well, there'll be 9 youth in a transitional housing that will stay here for an indeterminate amount of time, as long as they need to get them to that next stage in their housing plan, which is a home.
600 new housing units are also part of London's plan. This hub is just one of 15 the city hopes to build.
That's a great idea.
But on the day of the vote, it's clear not everyone supports the city's plan. Right outside City Hall, there are people protesting about money.
We need to halt the hubs, everybody. Wasteful money coming your way.
Jeanette Cameron is angry because she says the plan won't help enough people. There are 2,000 homeless people in London, but the hub plan focuses on the 600 with the highest needs.
I don't feel like this is the proper way to go. I think the money should be allocated into a good or great winter plan, and some of the numbers and ideas need to get recrunched and back to the drawing board.
The protesters on the street have a voice inside at the meeting.
I don't think we can afford to be wrong with this investment of $21 million. And I believe that a good deal today is a good deal tomorrow.
That's Councillor Susan Stevenson. Now, she wants to delay the plan. She says it's rushed and the city should consider more options.
Take a breath, come back with something truly amazing, the very best next step for all Londoners in 2024.
Okay, I'm going to have you pause, Councillor. For those who are here in the gallery, we don't clap, we don't cheer, we don't say other things. There are many people with diverse opinions, but we don't do outbursts of either appreciation or otherwise.
We're in a crisis here, and we will be held accountable, not just at the next election, but next year and the year after.
But Councillor Sam Trosau says there's no time to lose because lives are at stake.
Since the beginning of 2020, more than 200 unhoused Londoners have died. And I just think delay, for the purpose of delay, is cruel. I think it's really a slap in the face.
The reason for the tension is that things are really bad in London. The number of homeless people has gone from 300 to 2,000 since before the pandemic. One of them is Jocelyn. She's 22, homeless, and she tells me what it's like to live in London in the middle of this crisis.
You know, what's the hardest part about living the life you live?
Society makes me definitely feel like I am going to fail because I am looked down on because I am homeless. And living with something like that is hard. Living with an addiction, a mental health issue, it's hard and it's not fair to judge people for that. Like, yes, we ended up here because of that, but honestly, most of us are trying our best to get better so we can get out of that situation. Or even just try to make it by so we can live like a normal human being, because normal human beings deserve to be able to shower and sleep in a bed. And like, that's the bare minimum of humanity.
And what do you hope for?
What I hope for? I hope to be okay. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's always my hope that I can make the right decisions to make sure everything works out.
For Jocelyn, it's as if her future and others like her is what's being debated at council.
It is an informed plan designed to help people.
And the reality is not everyone here wants a homeless person as a neighbor. Vincenter Lotte is one of more than 1,000 people who signed a petition against one of the hubs moving into where they live.
What is it that you're afraid of? Safety. Not safe there. My kids, they might physically get attacked. I don't know.
They might get physically attacked?
Yes. Cars can be broken, houses. So we have to beef up on our security. We don't feel comfortable with that.
So you think the homeless should be helped?
Yes.
But just not in your neighborhood?
Not in those neighborhoods, no. Not in my neighborhood.
But then something unexpected happens. One of the councillors, Elizabeth Pelosa, addresses the protesters in the gallery.
I hear that there's concerns. I have 3 children too, and I do not live too far from one of the already service providers that are in my area. I've also experienced homelessness as a child, so I come with a different lens to this conversation. You probably would have been afraid of me back in the day, living without a home on the back of a pickup truck in a camper. So that's the compassion that I lead with and the leadership I show in my lived experience. So I'm asking for support of these hubs. Thank you.
Moments before the final vote, the mayor wants council to know that the stakes here go well beyond London.
As mayor, I can tell you cities across Ontario and throughout the country are also watching exactly what we're doing here in this chamber. They're watching, they're studying what we're doing, and they want to see it work.
After all the debate, the vote itself takes only a few moments.
Closing the vote, motion carries 10-4.
London's plan passes, but looking at the mayor, you'd never know.
I never anticipated when we passed this phase of implementation that there would be a standing ovation or applause. I'm not going to celebrate until I see people off the streets, indoors, getting the supports they need. When I see impacts, that's when you'll see me stand up and clap.
So, Nick, the plan in this story, it's really ambitious. How did this come together?
It actually started with a hunger strike. About a year ago, the homeless outreach workers in London, the people who go out and help the homeless on the street, staged a hunger strike in protest of how bad the situation was. So the city, that got attention. And then a private citizen came forward and donated $25 million to say, can you do something about the homeless issue? So that really got the ball rolling. And I should say that the plan they came up with, this isn't a few people sitting in a boardroom. It's all the social service agencies in the city, 200 people who historically haven't always gotten along or seen eye to eye, came together to come up with the hub's model.
So now what? When is the first one being built? How does it roll out?
First one will open in December, then 2 more in the new year, and then 12 more in the planning stage.
Oh, that's fascinating. I know you'll keep an eye on it. All right, Nick, thank you.
Take care, Adrian.
Coming up, well, this is one serious Halloween display.
We have lots of customers on a daily basis that ask us about, oh my God, I can't believe who did this.
Meet the master behind the pop art. That's next in our moment. He is a silent guardian, a watchful protector. We are talking, of course, about Batman. He looks out over the aisles in this Kelowna grocery store thanks to the handiwork of Eric Falkenberg. So Eric's been designing and building elaborate constructions made entirely of pop cases for years now. And tonight, just in time for Halloween, his supermarket superhero is our moment.
In front of the store is Batman the Joker. It's gone absolutely wild on TikTok. 1.9 million views.
Fabulous. I don't know how they do it.
Many years ago, they had a contest for Coca-Cola. It was a $1,000 contest. So I built this big polar bear, and I won a national contest by accident. And then I just got hooked. Like I did Santa Claus, I did the Grinch, I did the Coke truck, I did the polar bear. Tuesday night, I won another 2 Master Merchandiser Awards, which makes 8 in total. This one was Santa and the Grinch. This one was Spider-Man and Venom. I went to college for civil engineering. Everyone thinks I use this fancy computer program, but no. It's all just pen and pencil, count the boxes, and build it. The semi-truck I bid was 5,000 cases, 50 feet long, 13 and a half feet tall.
He's quite talented. We have lots of customers on a daily basis that ask us about, oh my God, I can't believe who did this.
There's no one really else doing this kind of thing. It's one of a kind.
Well, no wonder they're not doing it. It looks really hard. Lots of us were wondering, are those cases full? So the answer to that is no, because that would just not be safe. He is having some thoughts about what he might do for Christmas, but he's not telling. You're just going to have to go there and find out. For all of us here at The National, thanks for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to The National's YouTube channel. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.